Sphere 4 Chesed. Sphere 5 Geburah. Sphere 6 Tifereth. The third triad. Malkuth. Sphere 7 Netzachah. Sphere 8 Had Miguel. Sphere 9 Yesod. Sphere 10 Malkut. Experimentation of the 10 angels in water. First experimentation. Water 1 Metatron. Water 2 Ratio. Water 3 Zephkiel. Second experimentation of angels in waters. 1 Metatron. 2 Ratio. 3 Zephkiel. 4 Zadkiel. 5 Kamael. 6 Raphael. 7 Haniel. 8 Miguel. 9 Gabriel. 10 Sandalphon. Third experimentation of leading angels with the waters in the spheres of the body. 1 Metatron. 2 Ratziel. 3 Zephkiel. 4 Zadkiel. 5 Kamael. 6 Raphael. 7 Haniel. 8 Miguel. 9 Gabriel. 10 Sandalphon. Water of the leader angels grouped. Angels 1, 2, and 3. Angels 4, 5, 6. Angels 7, 8, 9, 10. How can you bring the benefits of the company of the angels into your life? Kabbalah and Greek mythology. Experience with Gaia. Uranus and the hierarchy. Uranus and the wind. Uranus in Chesed. Uranus and the Hindu gods. Uranus and Lakshmi in the 9th sphere. The leader angels and Uranus. Hesiod, Theogony. My contacts with the gods of the Hesiod, Theogony. Chaos. Gaia, the earth. Tartarus. Eros. Rebro. The black night. The ether. The day. The sky. High mountains. The barren sea. The ocean of deep currents. Krios. Hyperion. Japetus. Thea. Rhea. Themis. Kronos and Rhea. Zeus. Hades. Demeter. First impression of Demeter cream. Second Demeter cream impression. Third Demeter cream impression. Fourth Demeter cream impression. Fifth Demeter cream impression. Persephone. Persephone plus Hecate. Second Persephone cream impression. Fourth Persephone cream impression. Confronting Persephone, Hecate, and Zeus. Aphrodite. Second Aphrodite cream impression. Third Aphrodite cream. Aphrodite plus Zeus. Fourth impression. Hecate. Second Hecate cream impression. Third Hecate cream print. Fourth Hecate cream print. Dionysus. Hebe. Hephaestus. Neptune, Poseidon. Hercules. Selene. Second Selene cream impression. Third Selene cream test. Fourth Selene cream impression. Hestia. Second Hestia cream impression. Third impression of Hestia. Hera. Second Hera cream impression. Athena, Minerva. Second reading of Athena. Third reading the unconscious. Fourth reading of the cream of Athena. Fifth reading of the cream of Athena. Sixth reading of the cream of Athena. Artemis. Second impression of Artemis cream. Third impression of Artemis cream. Mnemosyne. Phoebe. Tethys. Physical lights. Melite. Agave. Protomede. Galatae. Electra. Iris, Harpies, Chrysor, Ortos. The rivers, sons of ocean and Tethys. Zante, Urano, Calypso, Perseus. Sun, the bright moon. Olor, Prometheus, Epimetu. Muses, Talia Muse, Calliope, Cleo, Erato, Euterpe, Melpone, Palomene, Terpsichore, Urania, Apollo, Ares, Alcmene, Amation, Pele, Achilles, Ulysses, Nosatu, Nosanu. Bibliography. Preface. In this work, I present approaches at various levels of depth about the extremely subtle dimensions of our tree of life. With the practice of the Jungian active imagination, we can perceive the emanations of the leading Kabbalistic angels, know what it is about, and receive their benefits in many ways. By using waters with sacred vibrations into the body, we can have practical knowledge of the system of God and human creation, through contact with the leading angels of the 10 spheres through the body. We can also experience acceleration and unblocking of our tree of life, generating greater evolution and consequently greater merit. Wisdom. Greater awareness. Self-knowledge from our tree of life. To feel the emanations of the spheres, the angels, and the ways. To rise to more subtle dimensions. Unlock 32 paths and improving their operation. Feel a circulation of energy in the physical body, and have awareness of the origin of situations and physical imbalances in general. Beginning our journey in its initial stage, level 1, we can have contact with these emanations and gradually set ourselves in order to introduce ourselves to the question of the restoration, the tikkun, where the second part, more advanced in level 2. Walking through our tree of life, or our scheme of creation, we can see the blockages in many aspects of our being, and we will unlocking it, increasing our understanding in these aspects, and this way include new aspects in our personality, receiving help of beings that inhabit these spheres, acquiring knowledge of each sphere and its nature, learning to deal with the issues that each sphere works as an aspect of our being, better balancing our personality. Our ultimate goal is the cross and the rose. Each time you read this book, you will advance more and more in the evolution and restoration of your creation system that consists of 32 paths, which are the 10 spheres and the 22 paths. Merit increases when we integrate new attributes into ourselves, which come from contact with the angels, from reading, and from the use of waters when they are available. Each part read should be thought calmly. We must close our eyes after a few pages of reading and realize how this reading moves us. Each paragraph concerns some aspect of our being, and are examples of experiences alongside these magnificent beings. By reading it, you will have your experience according to your sensitivity. When reading an excerpt, we should relax a little. The contact with the mercy of the Great Mother balances our being. Love invades our soul, and this brings more merit to receive more light from the Creator, and thus the processes of balance become more effective in all aspects. This effect is found in level 3, where the preparation of the waters changes to a more advanced level in which we can connect with the light more easily. Karmic questions are strongly addressed, and the focus is on calming the judgments, and thus being able to reconcile the opposites that are the masculine and the feminine in us. With waters prepared under the guidance of manifested God, Ein Sof, parts of the Zohar chosen by him are inserted as vibrations in the waters, among other techniques. All references to Greek gods, Hindu gods, angels, and masters come from the experience of meditation with the Jungian active imagination that should not be confused with loose and endless imagination. This type of meditation generates access to contents of the collective unconscious, in which we connect directly with divinities of many pantheons. In this book, you can make comparisons between the pantheons and also beings arising from the Kabbalah, the angels, and concepts of the Zohar. Products like water, creams, cards, drawings were made in the presence of the deities and are used to generate the experiences because these products contain the vibrations of the beings that presented themselves to me and impregnated this art with their vibrations. Many things can be energized so that we can benefit from these incredible presences in our lives. The active imagination in this way becomes very easy to be practiced. A tree of life is always on the wall to guide me. This drawing is in this book as it was guided by Jesus or the lower Adam. It is the complete and perfect tree of life with its 32 paths, 10 spheres and 22 paths, and 72 angels. You will be reading these experiences through active imagination, comparing them to the experiences of the most prominent Kabbalists, and also experiencing meditation through the reading of these passages. This entire book was realized with guidance of God or Ein Sof, of the Great Mother his wife, of Hecate, being that Binah resides, of Adam and Eve. Introduction. Active imagination. The way in which I arrive at these divine figures, gods, masters, angels, symbols for physical health, among others, is the same way in which Carl Gustav Jung performed his mandalas in the Red Book through the technique of the active imagination. Carl Gustav Jung, in the Red Book, contrasts the characteristics of the spirit of this age and the spirit that governs the depth of the present, which is more powerful than the former, despite having avoided it. Knowing him made him descend to the simplest things and see the supreme sense. But the supreme sense is the path and the bridge to the future. It is the God who comes. It is not God himself, but his image that manifests itself in the supreme sense. The supreme sense is not a sense and is not absurd. It is image and force at the same time, glory and strength together. Jung 2016 110. For von Franz M.L. 1999, there are 4 stages in which the active imagination is processed. Firstly, we must empty our ego consciousness, freeing ourselves from the ego's thought stream. This is already quite difficult for many people who cannot stop the hallucinatory mind, as the Zen Buddhists call it. The process is easier in the case of painting, p.184. This first stage took many years in my life, in which I acquired this non-egoic ability to live and to manage to withdraw my will to be able to perceive the sacred with humility, clarity, and reverence. Second, at this point, we have to let a fantasy image from the unconscious flow into the field of inner perception. Unlike the above-mentioned Oriental techniques, in this case we welcome the image instead of dismissing it or disregarding it, concentrating on it. p.185. Firstly, I made images with colored pens. Then I started using only a black pen. The drawings were full of traces, and over time became more and more simplified and interesting. The drawings of the rays, the gods, the Kabbalah, and the Kabbalistic angels are the last ones I have done, and the features are much more stylized. Third, we have now reached the third stage. It consists in giving a shape to the inner perceived fantasy image, either by painting it, by carving it, by writing it as a song, a text, or by dancing it, in which case the dance moves must be noted. p.186. Sometimes I had already made a drawing, and from it came songs or new drawings as a result of contact with the deities. Fourth, we now come to the fourth phase, the decisive phase, the one that is absent in almost all imaginative techniques, is the moral confrontation with the material already produced. This point is tremendously important because all the effectiveness of the active imagination depends on it. People with a very fragmented character or with latent psychoses cannot at all make the active imagination, or only achieve it with the fictitious ego. p.189. It is from this confrontation that experiences and more experiences are generated through the very favorable vibration of this art. Both my production and Jung's art were done exactly the same way. The effects are the same. We can often feel the vibration of this art and can translate into thoughts, voices, visions, orientations, tasks, music, physical sensations that will generate the conditions for to enter at the same moment in which that active imagination took place, and thus we can participate of that moment, and, in our way, generating the necessary growth for the moment. Jung once commented that today's psychiatry has discovered the first 3 steps of the process but cannot understand the 4th. Most of today's imaginative techniques do not quite reach that point. 190. If you want to know more about it, you will like to ebook and paper book on Google Play and on Amazon.